Just a reminder to my fellow white people, you are not an ally if black men and black women are telling you that they are not going to protest on April 5th because it will put their lives in harm's way and you throw a tantrum.
So, get yourself a stick and tie a handkerchief on it and throw a summer sausage in there and a little pack of crackers and just show up at your local spot.
The fight for justice has always come at a cost, but who should bear that burden? As tensions rise ahead of the April 5th protests, white allies are being called to step up, while black communities are choosing to step back for their own safety. The message is clear: this time is not their fight to front. But not everyone is taking it well. Some white activists are frustrated, questioning unity, while others are doubling down on their role as true allies, from outright triumphs to calls for solidarity. The reaction says a lot about where we really stand in the fight for equality. Today, we are breaking down the most viral and controversial reaction from white people grappling with this moment. Is it allyship, entitlement, or just confusion? Let's talk about it. Welcome to the conversation. Let's get into it.
Just a reminder to my fellow white people, you are not an ally if black men and black women are telling you that they are not going to protest on April 5th because it will put their lives in harm's way and you throw a tantrum. Saying, oh, we all have to work together. Shouldn't we all come together, we the people? Don't you care about the future, about the children, about the time to come together was at the election. We failed them. So now their rest is their resistance, and they are staying home and staying safe as they should because their lives are too precious to put on the line. And what would cost me and people who look like me getting yelled at or at the worst tear gas, which isn't likely, would cost them their physical lives. And they've already been giving those lives for centuries in this country for all the rights that we enjoy. So it is our turn to step up and to speak up. And honestly, if you're telling them that they should go to that protest, you're an op and not an ally.
If you're a person of color and you think that you're going to sit out on this massive protest that's happening on April 5th, that's a good idea. Yeah, stay home, stay safe. We all know that the powers that be love a scapegoat, and historically speaking, that's been y'all. So stay home, stay safe. We got you. However, if you have a skin tone like mine, if you are fucking fluorescent, okay, in any capacity, I need your asses to get out of your house on the 5th and do what needs to be done. You need to be loud, you need to be proud, peaceful, and you need to go make some noise at whatever major city is closest to you. Okay? Okay. Yeah, there's not going to be an out for you. You have to be out there.
Hi, guys. Well, April 5th, it's coming quick. Guys, I just want to, just a couple things. If you haven't already, signed up, and you don't have to, we just want you to be there really bad. So, get yourself a stick and tie a handkerchief on it and throw a summer sausage in there and a little pack of crackers and just show up at your local spot. Really easy to find. Black people, love you, love you, love you. This is not for you. You stay home. We're fronting this one. Okay? April 5th. Listen, we all need to show up. We need to show up big time. This is a dress rehearsal for the big one, because it's coming. We have to knock them out. It is up to us. You're hearing it on World Talk. You're hearing it on Global Talk. This is our fight. This is ours to beat. This is ours to win. Be there, April 5th. All right. Love you guys. Have a good day.
Have you heard about the April 5th hands-off demonstrations that will be happening all over the country? The organizers have made all kinds of great demands. They say hands-off Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, cancer research, our jobs, consumer protections, clean air, clean energy. But there's one on there that shocked me. NATO. Hands off NATO, really? I wonder who put that on the list. Maybe they just didn't know what NATO really is, because many people don't. That's why I joined David Swanson and World Beyond War to write this book, NATO, What You Need to Know. Do you believe that NATO is a peace-loving, defensive alliance? Well, it's not. During the past 30 years, NATO has fomented a vast arc of violence from Afghanistan to Libya, leaving villages bombed, infrastructure destroyed, countless dead. You know, it was originally formed to deter the Soviets. So when the Soviet Union fell apart, NATO should have disbanded. Instead, it just grew from 19 members in 91 to 32 members today. And despite the promises that it made to Russia not to expand eastward towards the Russian border, NATO plowed ahead against the advice of senior U.S. diplomats who said this would inflame tensions with Russia, which of course it did. So while Russia bears full responsibility for invading Ukraine in 2022, in violation of the UN Charter, we can't deny the disastrous role played by NATO in provoking and then prolonging the war in Ukraine. Also, the inclusion of NATO in our demands contradicts the basic hands-off message that we need to protect our fragile safety net. Right now, at the bidding of President Trump, NATO is openly and aggressively pressuring its members to move more money away from things like healthcare, retirement funds, clean energy, to weapons and militarism. It would be great if we expanded the hands-off demands to international issues. Let's call for hands-off Palestine, hands-off Yemen, or Greenland, or Panama, or Canada. But we do object to including a destructive institution like NATO. If we are committed to human needs, the environment, as well as peace and diplomacy, then let's urge the April 5th rally organizers to eliminate NATO from the hands-off agenda. Let's say no to NATO and yes to peace.
They want you to be afraid to protest. Yeah, that's why the media doesn't report on it all, because they don't want you to feel empowered. They want you to feel alone and isolated, like you'd be vulnerable out there. But the truth is, the fascists are the ones that are vulnerable. And that's why they've been doing all the things they've been doing to freak people out. But you know as well as I do, the American people aren't afraid, because most of us, we just don't give a fuck. So what are y'all doing next Saturday? Because that's the next big protest day. And I'll be at my state capitol. I hope everyone else will be too. How many people do you think we can get across the country at one time marching in solidarity? 1 million, 2 million, 10 million? Yeah, because they need to keep their fucking hands off our freedoms, our education, our Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, fucking immigrants, all of it. I think we can make this the biggest show of solidarity of the American people in history, man. Let's fucking do this, people. Fuck Donnie, fuck the muskrat, fuck the fascists. Do not fucking comply.
Wow, she's really drunk the Kool-Aid. I mean, drunk it all the way down. For one, black lives are not worth more than white lives, and white lives are not more than black. So you're an idiot. So you're saying that they should sit home while y'all go out and burn stuff down the cities and set fire to Tesla. Any of y'all that are going out doing this are loons. Complete loony. Period. You're protesting because Elon Musk is doing the same thing that Clinton did and the same thing that Obama did. But it's the fact y'all have Trump derangement syndrome is the reason why it makes y'all mad. The fact is, these Democrats are telling y'all to do it because they want the money back in their pockets. This man is telling y'all and showing y'all and being transparent to let y'all know that the Democrats have been setting up all these little funds and sex changes in other countries and DEI programs and LBG programs in other countries, and then setting up funds, non-profit, taking a fat check, donating the rest, and making themselves rich. And y'all are okay with that. The fact they're making $200,000 and they're worth millions, but y'all are okay with that because y'all have drunk the juice. And anything that Trump does, you're convinced it is bad. If he saved a cat from a tree, it's bad. The cat's bad. Put the cat back. Y'all were the same idiots when they found 80 girls, young girls and boys that have been trafficked. Y'all protested that ICE put them back. They were in cages. They were being sex trafficked, and y'all protested. When they deported that or arrested that guy and found 13 kids in his basement, y'all protested that they should put them back. Y'all don't do any logic whatsoever. None. No common sense at all. They've indoctrinated y'all to think anything Trump does is bad because they knew when he got in office that corruption has gotten so deep and they've gotten so rich, they wanted to keep the money flowing. I mean, I've looked at the bills. Y'all can look at them yourselves. He's not cutting Medicaid. He's not cutting Social Security. The Department of Education is going back to the states. They still get their funding, but it's a complete failure. Since they've created it, the only thing they've done in the name of DEI is dumb down the schools and put the standards where now kids are graduating on a 5th grade reading level. And if they really cared, Democrats will focus on education. In poor minority neighborhoods, education is the ticket. But anytime anybody mentions anything about education, oh my God, they get all mad and you're racist for saying something about it. Education is the problem. It's not programs to give somebody a crutch, it's education. But, I mean, just like January 6th, y'all were all gaslighted and none of y'all took the time to watch the video to see what really happened. So, I mean, I don't know what to tell y'all, but it's out there. All you gotta do is look. It's like your whole Free Palestine movement. Take the time to look at the last 40 years of the history of they're responsible for almost every terrorist group in the Middle East and how many people they've unalived. And while all the other Muslim countries won't let them in, do your homework.
So let's talk about this April 5th protest and the white ally reactions that are causing a stir online. There's a lot to unpack here, but let's start with the basics. Black activists and communities have made it clear that they will not be attending this protest because of the risks to their lives, and yet some white activists are pushing back, claiming that everyone should show up, that unity is key, and that it's selfish to sit this one out. That reaction alone tells us everything we need to know about how certain people view activism. Because here is the thing, allyship isn't about centering your feelings, it's not about making demands of the people who have already given generations of their lives, their bodies, their safety, and their well-being to fight that they proportionately benefit everyone else. Black people saying, we are sitting this one out because history has shown us that when protests get violent, we are the ones who suffer the worst consequences, should be met with understanding, not guilt-tripping. Yet, what we are seeing is a familiar pattern. Instead of listening to black voices, some white allies are making it about themselves. But we need to stand together. But we are all in this fight. But don't you care about the future? And what is frustrating about this is that these arguments completely ignore the lived reality of black Americans. They ignore the fact that law enforcement reacts differently to white and black protesters. They ignore the fact that black activists have been brutally targeted for decades, from COINTEPRO to model day surveillance. And most importantly, they ignore that black rest, black safety, and black preservation are also forms of resistance. This is where we separate true allies from performative ones. If you are an ally, you listen, you take direction, you don't get defensive when told to fall in line. And in this case, the direction is clear. Black communities are telling us to step up while they sit this one out. That means showing up in full force, taking up space, using privilege to protest the message, and recognizing that for once the risk is lower for you than it is for them. Now let's talk about another angle. The people of color who are also choosing to sit this one out, the message to them has been clear. Stay home, stay safe, because we all know how quickly marginalized groups become scapegoats. And it's vowed, historically, when movements take a turn, black and brown people bear the brunt of the retaliation. So choosing to protect themselves while still supporting the movement is not cowardice, it's wisdom. On the flip side, white people who understand this moment are stepping up, saying we got this, and organizing without placing expectation on those who are most at risk. That is what allyship should look like. That is what solidarity means. Not just showing up when it feels convenient or when it looks good on social media, but actually doing the work when it's hard, when it's uncomfortable, when there is no credit or reward attached to it. And let's talk about how people are turning into a purity test. There's a difference between being critical and just outright dismissing activism when it doesn't fit your ideal version of it. Some flocks are upset about the protest demands, including Lato, as if that invalidates the entire movement. Why is it fair to question certain aspects of any protest? Let's not pretend that movements haven't always had broad agendas. The real question is, are we going to let one talking points divide us, or are we going to show up for the bigger fight? At the end of the day, this is the bigger than one protest. This is about how we move forward in resistance. It's about how we defy allyship. It's about whether white people will finally take responsibility for a fight that isn't new to black and brown communities. This is the moment where white allies either show that they have been listening and learning, or they never really got it in the first place. So April 5th is coming. The call has been made. The right people know where they need to be. The only question left is, will they show up the way they're supposed to? That is it for today. If you find this conversation important, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Are people handling this the right way? Should allies step up without question, or is there room for debate here? I will see you in the next one. Stay safe, stay informed, keep the conversation going.